.org for the latest information on the COVID-19 vaccines. Getting back to the moments we miss starts with getting informed. It's up to you. A message brought to you by the Ad Council and the CDC.
Hi, I'm Yael Cassander.
And I'm Don Glass.
And we host A Moment of Science.
For more than 20 years, A Moment of Science has been taking an entertaining look at the science behind some of life's most perplexing questions.
In just 2 minutes, you get a look at the fascinating world around us and beyond.
We hope you'll tune in.
For more information about A Moment of Science or to download our latest podcasts, visit us at amomentofscience.org.
Listen weekday afternoons at 5:45 on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, a community-owned and operated hospital. Here for you when you need us. From emergency care to routine checkups and screenings, caregivers are here and ready to provide the safe, high-quality care you need close to home. Online at sanjuanregional.com with the latest health information and resources to help you live life better here. Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Monday morning, the first day of November, and the first week. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air, of course, here in San Juan County, New Mexico. 103.3 FM broadcasting to Durango, Colorado, and everywhere else on Earth. You're listening to us from our website, KSJE.com, or maybe your smart speaker has tuned us in. We're glad that you're with us, everybody, as well as our viewers, because this is a visual radio program. It is streaming live this morning out to the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. We're glad that you are with us this morning, everybody, because coming up in the next few moments, my guest on the program this morning, Warren Unsicker, is here, the Economic Development Director with the City of Farmington. We'll be talking about some of his efforts and much, much more coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then later on this hour at 8:50 a.m., Lewis Campbell will be joining me to talk about technology. That's our Monday Reboot segment this morning. And that takes us to Mick Hess and Roving with the Arts at 9:06 after the news. Nick is featuring some more Haydn string quartets on the program today, so stay tuned to enjoy that this morning. Also, we want to remind you, you can also check us out on our Instagram page, in addition to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you're a podcast person, we invite you to subscribe for free to KSJE Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, places like iTunes and Spotify and iHeart and Pandora, all those places you can find us as well. So subscribe and take us with you, KSJE Podcast. Let's talk a little bit about the weather forecast, shall we? Currently, it's 37 degrees with partly sunny skies in Farmington this morning. We are expecting a partly sunny day today with a high of 65 degrees. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 43. It'll be partly sunny again tomorrow, the high 63 on Tuesday. Sunshine and 63 on Wednesday, 62 on Thursday. Sunshine in mid-60s for Friday and Saturday with overnight lows in the mid-30s. And we always say that visual radio can take you places. Let's take you over to Las Vegas, Nevada this morning. A pretty sunrise this morning in Las Vegas as the sun is rising over the Strip, as you can see, looking south there from the Venetian all the way down. And current temperature in Las Vegas is 58 degrees at the moment. They are expecting some clouds today with a high of 78 and a low of 56. But good morning from Las Vegas. Let me turn to my guest who is here with me this morning. Warren Unsicker is here to talk economic development with me. Good morning. Good to have you back in the studio.
Good morning. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming in. And it's been a busy, couple of months, I would say, with some things going on in the community. And I wanted to touch base with you and find out kind of what you thought about some of those gatherings.
Absolutely. So yeah, we've had numerous conferences hosted here, which has been lovely to be able to showcase what we have going on in the community and what's happening from a growth perspective. We just hosted the Outdoor Economics Conference, which was a huge success. We think we had nearly 300 people come and join us from around the state and beyond to talk about the economy and how it can be grown through outdoor recreation, be it tourism, be it building out trails or creating new businesses in manufacturing. And it was really great great opportunity to showcase what we've accomplished as a broader community, the entire county and all the communities within, to push outdoor recreation all together in the same directions.
Right, and I want to ask you a little bit about that too, because this is a conference that was kind of planned and sponsored by an entity from Las Cruces area, correct?
Yes.
And was this their first conference, or is this the first one after COVID?
Right. This is the first physical one after COVID.
Yeah,
so this is the fourth one they've hosted.
Okay.
They did have a virtual one during COVID, which was very well received, but we had been holding out hope to host it here. It was supposed to have happened in 2020. So,
that's right.
This was our opportunity to host it, and it was a huge success. We had a lot of positive feedback, a lot of great people from around the state and from state leadership at the legislative level come to the conference and really come away knowing that we're all in on this, and we all are pushing in the same direction to make this a reality for our community.
Right. Interesting to hear, and I bet, a lot of folks hopefully pleasantly surprised coming to Farmington, because I think maybe the community's reputation in other parts of the state is more of our oil and gas and our energy reputation and things along that line. Maybe people don't think outdoor recreation, although I know you're trying to change that.
Well, yes, and it seems to be working, because we had people come up and go, "Oh, I didn't realize Farmington was an energy
interesting.
community." So apparently,
it was the opposite of what I said.
It's taking root, which is excellent. And so, not to say that we're jettisoning energy, but the fact that the
first thing,
the thing that they're seeing and that's visual when they come into the community is that we're an outdoor rec location. So that's great.
Right.
Means that things are starting to trickle out, and we had a lot of people leave wanting to come back for some staycations here in Farmington and the surrounding area. So they all got to do some excursions as a part of the conference. So they got to go out into the Bisti and meditate, or go OHVing, or go and do a paddle trip on the river. So they got a taste of what we have to offer here, and a lot of them wanted to come back for more.
Nice. And these were, again, as you mentioned, folks from other governments around the state,
Correct.
other organizations around the state, and other businesses from around maybe the state and outside of the state too, correct?
Absolutely.
That we're here.
Yes. So this is an opportunity to really showcase. It was a best practices conversation, of course, but also an opportunity to attract people and get some traction with potential businesses that might want to locate here. And so that was a great opportunity, and we're very pleased with the reception in that regard. We also had Endeavor, the Outdoor Recreation Industry Association, that is actually hosted here in Farmington, and they had a reception and got a chance to host all their members from around the state here as well. So they were all very keen to see what we had going on up here, and had an annual meeting of their organizations.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the state folks that were here, again, they are in charge of maybe promoting the whole state as a destination, right? And so I know, it's like a parent, try to treat all your children equally, right? They love all the communities equally when it comes to outdoor recreation, but still giving them a chance to see Farmington up close. And
just some visibility, and to recognize that, yes, this is a place that when we put state dollars into this area, they come back in dividends, which is excellent. So, and on that same note, we have a lot of opportunities we're working on with the state and beyond with the State Parks Department to try and attract some grants to this area through the Land, Water, and Conservation Great American Outdoors Act funding. And so we're trying to apply for things for our new bike park that we're building up at Foothills Drive, the Juniper Basin recreational area there. We're applying for a grant that is part of the Gold King Mine settlement.
I see.
To try and help build out our river access. So building out some whitewater features, possibly even an adjustable feature that would allow you to regulate the wave in the river automated.
Not me. No one wants me regulating anything, but somebody else.
Yes, the communities to be able to provide flows that are conducive to either rafting or stand-up surfing and things like that. Likewise, working on trying to apply for a grant for some new amenities up at the lake. We need more infrastructure to be able to provide better camping opportunities, to build out the roads, to make it to where you have electricity and light and things to that effect.
Right.
So,
and just to be clear, that's Farmington Lake you're
Farmington
talking,
Lake, yes,
which is what the city is working on.
Absolutely.
And certainly has added a lot of amenities thus far
Yes.
to Farmington Lake, but there are plans for much, much more.
Absolutely. And so we're really trying to make that a destination. It already is a destination,
Right.
but to make it more of one and to make it more accessible for everyone to be able to take advantage of that.
Some of your wish list things, at least if I'm remembering correctly, would be like maybe campground,
Correct.
maybe
Yeah.
rentable cabins, things like that, of which you would need maybe some infrastructure, some power, and
Correct,
water,
yeah.
sewer, things like that.
Right, to make it a more season-round
Mm-hmm.
opportunity, as well as just make it something that people can use it as their home base. And that's the other thing we're trying to do as a community, is to be kind of the center point, because
Right.
we are central to so many amazing things. I know that when I moved here, I mean, we practically plotted a map and said, okay, we're going to go this, take this long weekend and go over here and see this, and we're going to go over here. And, within about a, 3 to 5 hour drive, you can see some truly outstanding natural, monuments and
Oh, for sure, that's true.
locations. And those are things that are in a lot of people's bucket lists. And we want to be that center point where people, plant their flag here and they take day trips out to these amazing things. And a lot of them are right here in our backyard, like the Bistai and, Chaco Canyon and various different other things.
Right. And I think a lot of people are pleasantly surprised when they find out how close they are to all these
Right.
things when they look at a map and plan their trip and things along that line.
Absolutely.
And I think the other winning feather in Farmington's cap is the affordability of staying here.
Yes.
No offense to our other neighbors, great communities, but maybe a little pricier to stay there than here.
Absolutely. And that is true even of housing here. We're starting to see more people move to Farmington from all over the nation.
Right.
And so
Right.
that's a huge paradigm shift. And, of course, nationwide, we're seeing some shifts in the real estate market. But here in particular, we've seen a lot of influx of new population base from other parts of the nation. And so it's because of that affordability and because of the quality of life we provide, including our downtown, it's kind of had its first year of, testing out the tires and seeing what it feels like to have this brand new downtown. And so far it's been very good. We've had a lot of great and successful events going on, and people getting out and enjoying things in downtown. It's become a wonderful venue to host people.
Right, right. And again, just talk about the housing for just a moment. Some
Yes.
people may be saying, but I can't afford a house in Farmington. It's all relative.
Sure.
And so I know what you're talking about is, people moving here from places where housing is much, much more expensive.
Correct, yes.
Maybe not that far away.
Right, absolutely.
And so by that measurement, it is affordable when you compare it to other
Correct.
markets.
And that is something we are trying to take a look at, is affordable housing as well. But from if you're coming from a East Coast, you cash out of your house for a bungalow for $800,000 to $1 million. You can come here and invest and get the same size or greater for a couple $100,000.
Buy 5 houses.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that's huge for this bringing in new jobs and new skill sets. And so,
And that's what people are realizing, and they don't have to go to the office, so they can work from anywhere. So why not work from a place where you can go mountain biking after lunch,
exactly right.
or skiing,
Yeah.
or golfing in the morning and skiing in the afternoon, or swap them around.
Yeah,
or-
there you go.
but
Exactly right.
That's what we're known for, and that's what you're talking about, and we're seeing that, and the real estate agents will say the same thing.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
that's exciting. Let's talk about downtown, because that is another major investment by the city to, again, try to redesign downtown, the complete streets idea, and the roundabouts and the wider sidewalks. But again, I think with COVID and restaurants being able to move some dining outside, and it was a great thing to be able to go downtown during the summer and enjoy a meal outside.
Absolutely, yeah. And so, we're starting, again, construction and COVID both hit during 2020. And so that was a rough patch there, but many of our businesses not only survived but thrived through that. And now we have this beautiful landscape downtown with all these great new businesses. Over that 18-month period from then to now, we've had over 14 businesses join downtown. And so, if you haven't been downtown lately, not only has it got a new facelift, but you've got a lot of new places to visit. So please do come down and check it out. We just hosted the New Mexico Main Street, the statewide agency, and all the directors from around the state to come and do their annual kind of best practices event. It's a quarterly session that they do, and they were blown away. Again, they were just in awe at what we'd accomplished here in Farmington, and it was a great opportunity to share some of the best practices and the things that we're doing here. It really is a testament to the investment the city is making in its future. And so, this is something that I think does create that quality of place and that quality of life that people look for in a community. And it makes, a great venue for us to host people here and to have our own community events. We just had Boopalooza this Saturday.
Right. You're talking about that before we came on the air. That's true.
Very well attended, beautiful place to just, again, wider sidewalks for the kids to be able to go and down and, get their candy at the various different merchants.
I saw the pictures, yeah. Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
So it's just, and nice thing, we can pump Halloween music throughout the entire downtown, through the entire
the speaker
event.
system now, that's true.
So it makes for an atmosphere that people want to stay and want to be down there and part of what's going on. So.
And that was all part of this major project, and so people would say, well, you can put music anywhere, but I mean, to be able to do it for, I don't know, once you got 5 blocks worth
six
of
blocks
of speakers and all synchronized and all ready to go, and the wider streets, and I know the city folks will tell me there's a lot of improvements that we can't see.
Sure.
There's a lot of water, wastewater, and other things that happened underneath the pavement.
Yes, reduces flooding potential. We had some issues in the past where businesses were having water flood right into their businesses. Well, the underground systems that have been installed help mitigate that.
Right.
And we've installed new water lines and better access to fire suppression, so for these older buildings to be able to upgrade them and bring them up to where they don't burn down and we lose that historic aspect of things. We're also investing in the Totoh Theater. Soon it will be reopened with reupholstered seats, a new audiovisual system where we can actually project movies and have surround sound that sounds great. And the county did a phenomenal job renovating things to get it up to code and spec and everything to have the roof better and all that fun stuff. So it's going to be an amazing new venue downtown as well.
Right.
And some of this is being helped being funded by the state. The state gave us a capital outlay grant for $135,000 to install the audiovisual system in this facility. We also received a grant from them for the Main Street project. So we're really taking and getting the state engaged in this process too, and we're grateful to have their partnership in this. And they like what they see when their return on investment. So
which is good.
Exactly.
Because they're not going to keep sending money if they don't think it's a good investment. And so that's always important. And the other thing I think too is by the city coming into some of these partnerships with the state or getting these grants or other funds sources, the idea is that maybe some private entities will come forward and invest also in downtown and maybe move their business to downtown, maybe develop some affordable housing downtown.
Precisely right.
I don't know. I'm just thinking out of the box at the moment. But isn't that the hope that that some of this will then drive some private investment as well? Because the city can't pay for everything.
Of course not. Yeah, and that's the beauty. We're building the kind of the landscape and the infrastructure around it that then these businesses can come and take advantage of. It makes for them a beautiful place to kind of light and build their business and get a return on their investment too.
Right.
And so and businesses look at that. They look at, is the city bought into this space to the community as a whole? Is it investing in itself? And when they see that, it's like, this is probably a pretty good bet. And we're seeing that, of course, in the retail market right now. New businesses popping up all over the place. I don't know if you've seen the Slim Chickens. It's under construction as we speak.
Story in the newspaper this morning, right? That they're moving in. Sure. Mm-hmm.
You've got numerous.
I know the Dion's announcement was a huge thing for the community, and apparently Farmington was the most requested location for that company.
Doesn't surprise me. They're popular, and we have a lot of consumers that know what they want and they want to see it here in Farmington, and so that speaks volumes to the fact that we are still growing and still adding to our landscape here, and that, again, businesses feel comfortable investing in this community.
And that's an interesting point too, because in looking at the census results that came out, Farmington kind of bucked the trend of San Juan County. It was the only entity that grew, I believe, in that 10-year period from 2010 to 2020, not by a lot, but by enough to be in the green, and the other communities and the county lost population by comparison.
Absolutely. And of course, that oscillated throughout the 10-year period. So I mean,
the overall net gain.
Yeah, the net gain. So I mean, but if you think of how much we have lost in prior years, and to have come back up and be in positive is huge.
Right.
And so again, that is a testament to people probably moving back to Farmington, people staying here in Farmington, and attracting new people to Farmington. And so that's great to see, and it's a positive indicator that we as a community have vibrancy and we have a commitment to the growth of our community.
Right. My guest this morning, Warren Unsicker, is here. He is the Economic Development Director with the City of Farmington. We are talking about a couple of events that have been happening, hosted by the city, and both of these events that we've talked about were hosted by the Civic Center, of course, which was renovated not too long before COVID-19, I believe, and hadn't been really, I don't think, utilized to its full potential until some of these bigger events came to town, and seemed to work pretty well. I enjoyed a lovely reception on the lawn outside the Civic Center, which with the new landscaping made for a larger space to gather, and folks could still enjoy a drink because there's a separate fenced-off place for that, and all these things by design seem to work as designed.
Yeah, and again, rave reviews from attendees and organizers alike of like what a great place to be able to host these things.
Right.
You know? And so, and again, right in walking distance of downtown. So we're supporting local businesses in the process of this because we're bringing all these people, and after hours they want to go somewhere, and I could drive back to my hotel, or I can just walk downtown and enjoy all these great new places to see and eat and shop. And so that was huge. And we just again hosted a local event, the Women's Summit.
That's right.
Very well
Just last
attended
week,
as
that's
well.
right.
I think they said they had 260 people attend that, filled up the entire ballroom there. So the ability to host those larger events is great, and really again gets the community engagement and brings new people into town and gives us the opportunity to host these larger events and bring in heads and beds.
Right.
We had the outdoor conference was a 3-day conference more or less, and so you had people staying for several days, and we encouraged them to stay longer for the weekend to go and do some excursions and events. And so
very, very good. And the other thing I want to ask you a bit about is kind of the historical heart of a community downtown, and why that's so important, and the walkability too. You mentioned the Civic Center being in close proximity to downtown, and I think that means a lot for folks to be able to come down. The art walks, of course, help display that in a great way, but to be able to walk to a show or a meeting at the Civic Center and then walk a block away to dinner or lunch or whatever the place may be, that walkability is really an important part of any community, isn't it?
Absolutely. And especially for our residents and for the people that live here, to have kind of that place that they can go and feel comfortable and have a nice evening. They can enjoy the outdoors, and they can also enjoy patronizing these businesses. And then like you say, if they are catching a show later in the evening at the Civic Center, they can go grab a bite to eat and then walk right up to the Civic Center, not have to worry about parking right next to it. And people will say, oh well, we have a parking problem per se. I hope for a parking problem someday. Those are things where we want people to park and walk around and take in all of the great places downtown that have been attracted there in these businesses. Do a little window shopping on your way one block to get to your final destination. But a lot of people will walk that far to get from their car to the Walmart entrance.
And the mall,
or a mall. And so just keeping that in mind, this is a venue that's intended to be walked around and enjoyed as you're getting from point A to point B.
Right.
And that's why we pump music throughout every day, so that people can have just kind of a relaxing atmosphere and ambiance that they can take advantage of. And it becomes a place of pride for as community members that we can point to and take our guests to when they come to visit from out of town. And so we want to support local business too, and we want to make it a conducive place to do that. And we're going to be hosting Small Business Saturday again on November 27th. So encourage all those people that get out for Black Friday, don't forget Small Business Saturday. So,
that's true. Well, and this year there's a lot of, we heard in the news, there's a lot of supply chain issues. If you're used to ordering things, maybe they may not get here in time for the holidays. If you see something on the shelf of a local store and take it home, you're going to be able to have it under the tree.
It's in your hot little hands right
the
there.
Holidays. So that's another point to make.
Exactly right. So supporting local business is huge. They have what you need, hopefully, and what you may even not know you need. So it's great to have so many unique businesses and businesses that are bringing things to our community that we really value. So
very true, very true. Let me ask you another question about downtown. And I know there's been a lot of talk about trying to get a hotel downtown.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I would assume if something could be located in close proximity to the Civic Center, that would be a great kind of convention conference center, easy breezy, being able to stay across the street and walk across or whatever. Is that still something the city actively promotes and searches for? Is maybe some developer that might want to take the plunge and talk with you about that?
Yeah, and obviously with COVID and everything, travel has been not as robust as it usually is. So that is one thing with hotels. You have to be able to prove that there's excess occupancy that you can do, and we actually have a rather robust selection of hotels in our community for the size of community that we are.
Very true, and several new ones have opened even during COVID, I think, or right before.
Right about, exactly.
But yes, it seems like, we have no shortage of hotel rooms, that's for sure.
Precisely. And so that's where we kind of run into some issues is like, we would love to have a hotel downtown, but we got to be able to prove out to a new hotelier that they're not going to just be diluting the landscape and make sure that we're creating success. We don't want to set someone up for failure just as much as they don't want to set themselves up for failure. So not to say that we couldn't support another hotel, but we have to be able to prove that to them and show that that's reality.
But in that part of town, because it seems like when a new hotel comes in, they have chosen other locations because of maybe the lack of hotels in the area or the other hotels to compete with those in the area or whatever the case may be.
Well, and predominantly in the past we have been more of a workforce hotel.
A lot of commuter or a lot of business travel.
Right, exactly right. And so that's shifting too. And so that's a whole new paradigm that we have to start, keep marketing, I should say. The CVB does a lovely job, Tanya Stinson and her team, of attracting people here to stay for recreation. But that's a shift from an occupancy perspective, and especially when people are staying too, as opposed to during the week or over the weekends and such. So it's just a gradual progression.
Gotcha.
And so
but it is on your list. It is on the city's wish list.
Yes, very much.
To try to do that.
The number of projects and opportunities that we're pursuing all at once is staggering, but they're all positive and I think all mesh together really well for the future of our community. And that's the beauty of it all, is that it's pushing toward a similar goal, and they all accomplish different things, but they're all pushing towards the same essential goals. So our diversification of our economy is really the key, and bringing in new jobs and new residents and new businesses to our community.
Right. And I think we can see that even those of us not involved with the day-to-day goals like you are, of, the renovations of the Civic Center, the renovations downtown, the complete streets, some of the other amenities like the new Bisti Bay and some of the things going in at the lake that we've talked about. The reinvestment, I think, is happening up at Pinion Hills, the golf course.
Exactly.
All these different things designed to help the quality of life for the folks who live here. So thank you very much for that.
Right.
But the folks who are visiting here too.
Absolutely.
To make it a good experience. And I would think with more tourists maybe coming and other folks, a downtown hotel might be more advantageous for them than maybe staying out in another location, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So no, we have not let go of that dream for downtown, and we've keep examining where vacancies are from a land and building perspective. We actually just had a public-private partnership to tear down the Anasazi Inn that had become, kind of past its usable life and really wasn't, contributing to the downtown landscape. And now we've removed that blight from the end of downtown and really made that entrance attractive. So it's adding. It's also getting rid of some of the things that aren't conducive to the future of what we're trying to accomplish.
Very true. But it leaves that kind of open entrance, and I guess that's still property available for redevelopment, correct? It's not taken off the tax rolls, is it?
Yeah, no. It's about 3 acres of opportunity there that can be rented or leased or built on. So that's a huge opportunity for the entrance to downtown from the west.
Very good. Just a couple of minutes remaining this morning, Warren Unsicker. Another major landscape change that's happening on the west side of town is the big construction project, this senior housing, senior living area, and I know the city is trying to market itself for retirees.
Another great target that we have, and we've been seeing more and more of that coming. I mentioned to people moving from all around the nation, a lot of those are retirees. And we've heard several of them say, when we saw that they're investing in their downtown, they're doing these things. It's a community that's on the rise and takes care of itself. And so we're going to come and retire here. And again, affordability too plays into that as well. But seeing private investment in retirement services and amenities is huge. And so so this will provide not only housing but some elder services as well.
Sure, caregiving and things like that, right?
Precisely.
And some of that maybe stepped care, I think, too, as folks maybe need more care. They can stay right in that same complex. At least it's my understanding.
And this too is another opportunity for people that live here, if their parents are aging, to be able to say, "Hey, Mom, Dad, come move here with me. I've got these great amenities here. When come stay with us. But when it's time, we've got these amazing amenities that can take care of you when I'm at work." And so that's again something that benefits our citizens here and creates opportunities too for those that don't want to leave after they retire and snowbird somewhere or something.
Right.
They can have those amenities and don't have to worry about having to find it elsewhere.
Right, and that opens up a whole other conversation about what services seniors are looking for or retirees are looking for, because a lot of them are more active retirees. I don't mean to imply that they're going to go right into the assisted living. They may want to live independently.
Absolutely.
But need other services, healthcare, recreation, to have their lifestyle that they want to enjoy in their retirement years.
Exactly right. And that's being taken into account too, just with the types of trails we're building. One of the things that we're looking at up at the Juniper Basin recreational area is adaptive trails that are accessible for reclined bikes, that are adaptive bicycles that for those that aren't as mobile.
Right.
And so looking at that, we're also talking about the All Abilities Park. That's for all ages and for all abilities. And so those kinds of things that are starting to be built into the future of the community too are going to be conducive not only for children and those with the differently abled, but also those that are getting to their later years that need something that's a little less high impact, but has the opportunity still to get out and enjoy the great outdoors.
Makes sense. And again, it's something that maybe the city can do part of, but maybe not pay for all of it, or look for grants or things like that.
I mean, always, yes.
I know the pockets are not as deep with City of Farmington as maybe they used to be back in the heydays.
Sure, but things have been looking up, thankfully, coming out of COVID. I think revenues are starting to grow, which is again, thank goodness. We're growing, we're getting new population, we're getting new revenues. But we do seek to maximize our projects and do public-private partnerships or find private public grants that we can apply toward those things. So we aren't taking all of that on. Even the design of the Juniper Basin Park was a 50-50 split with a nonprofit that provided us a grant. And so we do look to find ways to maximize our community's dollars and make really great impacts with them.
Very good. Well, a lot of things, a lot of plates in the air, I think, that are spinning for you, Warren Unsicker, but always great to catch up with you and hear more about them, and they're very exciting things, and we look forward to kind of seeing them come to fruition. So thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. That's Warren Unsicker. He is the Economic Development Director with the City of Farmington, my guest here on KSJE. KSJE is supported by the Farmington Civic Center, bringing a wide variety of live entertainment to the Four Corners. Country music, classic rock, and ballet, all on stage this fall. Also, on-stage theatrical performances of The Rocky Horror Show and the holiday classic A Christmas Carol. Find out more online at fmtn.org/shows.
As global leaders meet to discuss our climate future, a look at the data attempting to predict how the climate will change. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace Tech. I'm Kimberly Adams, in for Molly Wood.
Marketplace Tech is supported by CyberReason, a cybersecurity company dedicated to stopping ransomware. While attackers work to hold your